weeks have come and they've gone. Wow, this post-op, it's flying by. And, thinking about it pre-op, I wasn't even sure I could make it through like the liquid and the soft food and the puree stages. However, for me, they were a lot easier than I thought they were going to be. And I'm not sure if it's because I kept seeing the scale move or if it's because of the amount of food that I can eat in one sitting, or if it's just the fact that I am fearful of adding in things like not complex carbs, like white flour and regular potatoes and white rice and things like that. I did have a bite of potato the other day, and I had a bite of my daughter's clam chowder because we went to the Oregon coast. And when you go to the Oregon coast, you have clam chowder. I got a bay shrimp salad sandwich and ate some of the shrimp and none of the bread, and ended up not eating very much. It was very tasty, but I didn't eat very much of it because I can't eat very much. But anyways, so these first few weeks have felt like they've gone by very, very quickly. And I feel like I've been fairly successful in what I've been doing. I haven't really had any cravings. I've been really liking savory food. And I think a lot of that is because the shakes and the flavoring I add to my water are sweet. And so I haven't been craving sweets. People have been eating them around me, but I haven't had any desire to try anything. Now, sometimes my family will have something on their plate that I think, ooh, that looks tasty. Like my husband had some barbecue brisket the other day, and I had a bite because I wanted to try it. But I don't do that with anything sweet so far. I don't do it with anything crunchy like chips or crackers. I don't do it with carb things like cakes and cookies and bread, bagels, anything like that. I have had sushi a couple of times, but the first time I went, I got a hand roll, and with hand rolls you don't have rice, so it's just whatever the sushi is wrapped in a piece of seaweed with no rice. So I had a hand roll a couple of times. And then I went to one of those sushi go rounds, the ones with the belt fed sushi that goes around in a circle and you pick your food off. And I got some California rolls, and I just opened them up and ate the insides, and I didn't eat any of the rice on the outside or the seaweed. At this point, I'm avoiding salad only, or lettuce mostly, only because I've heard horror stories of people eating lettuce and dumping or not sitting very well, because apparently lettuce is harder to digest. I have had cabbage, and that has been totally fine. The cabbage I've had has been cooked in something, so it's very soft cabbage. I've had some cooked carrots. I made some cabbage soup the other day because I got a lot of stuff from Imperfect Produce and it was starting to get a little too ripe. So I did a cabbage soup, and I made a ton of cabbage soup, so I gave half to my parents. But I did, and I'll put the recipe in the comments below of what I used. But what I did is, I did carrots and onions, and I had some zucchinis, and that were getting a little too soft, and, cabbage, of course, chicken broth. And what I do is I've been eating that as my late night snack when I'm feeling like I want a snack, but I'm not particularly hungry. It's something like 35 calories. It's, I think, 4 grams of carbs and about 1 or 2 grams of protein. So there's not really much to it, but it satisfies a little bit of the savory taste, and it also puts a little bit of food in my stomach when I'm sitting around late at night. I try to reserve that time to just drink, but every once in a while I feel hungry. So that's been a good snack for me. We went to the beach this last weekend, and I was able to, we walked a lot at the beach, and the beach was unbelievably crowded. So we got there early in the morning, about 9:30, and we were able to walk up and down the beach, and it wasn't too crowded. And then as the day wore on, it got really, really crowded. A lot of that is, it was a beautiful day at the Oregon coast, and there's a lot of counties that are still very much locked down around where I am. I live in a county and we're still in phase 1. So, and then Washington is right across the border and they're pretty locked down as well. And so everybody goes to the coast because it's open, and that's really the only thing you can do, that and hiking, but a lot of the state parks are closed. So anyways, beach was really crowded, but we walked about 5 miles. It was beautiful. I had no problem walking. We did a really slow pace, so it wasn't like it was super vigorous. But I wasn't sore afterwards. It was really nice. So just losing that initial 30 pounds has made it so that, I'm feeling better just walking and doing normal activities. And then on Sunday, I spent all day painting an accent wall in my office, the geometric shapes, where you take tape and you put it in all different kind of crazy angles all over the wall, and then you paint the blank spaces different colors. So I spent about 9 hours doing that this weekend. It took forever. It took way longer than I thought it was going to take. So anyways, my daughter and I have been working on that project for a few days. See, we've got some stuff to donate in the back seat of my car that I'm going to drop off today. We cleared out the office. We're making space for her for doing her online schooling. We're going to share my office. She was already doing online schooling before COVID, but she never really had a space to call her own that she could spread out and do her schoolwork. So we're doing that in the office, and it's kind of a big project. We went to IKEA and bought new desks and filing cabinets and storage space. I'm a travel agent, so I have a ton of just brochures and business supplies and things like that. So it has been quite the task. We started a week ago and we're still working. We're now to the painting portion. And once we're done with painting, which we should be done today, we'll be able to start putting furniture in. So I'm really excited to have that done this week. So week 6, some of the things that I'm doing now is I'm starting to add a little bit more exercise into my days, going to the beach on Saturday, spending all day there, and then doing the painting on Sunday. This morning, I'm not sore, but, last night I went to bed exhausted, and I'm okay today, but I think I'm going to take it a little bit easier today, only because I had so much activity those last 2 days. I'm meeting some friends at a pizza place today, and so I think what I'm going to do is just pick the toppings off the pizza and eat that way, and that'll be tasty. Hopefully somebody will let me just have a slice of their pizza, because I think ordering an entire pizza just for me is dumb. What else? I lost another 3.4 pounds in week 6. So that was really exciting. I did go to the doctor's office. That was my week 6 check-in. And this is my primary care physician. So she is my doctor that I'm using here in Oregon. If you remember, I had my surgery in California. So I had to have a doctor willing to see me post-op as part of my approval to have surgery in California. And she's been wonderful. She doesn't know a ton about, the gastric bypass. Well, I didn't have gastric bypass, but she doesn't know much about gastric bypass or the vertical sleeve, which is what I had. So she's just going off some notes that the surgeon had sent over. They sent over a packet of what to talk about at each one of my appointments. So she weighed me and took my vitals and all that, and everything looked great. I was 208 at the office visit. And so that was really exciting, because the last time I saw her, I was, I think, 236. And so quite a big decrease from the last time I saw her. While I was at the doctor's office, I was sitting there waiting for the doctor to come in after the nurse did my vitals, and I crossed my legs subconsciously, and then a few minutes later I looked down and I was like, what am I doing? What is this? I haven't crossed my legs in forever. So it was really exciting. One of those little non-scale victories that you don't even think about. And so I took a quick picture of my legs crossed, and I posted it in one of my bariatric groups on Facebook, and I got a ton of love on there. But really, guys, it's the little things. When the scale gets frustrating, put it away. It's not worth the mental anguish. Look for those little things that you can do. Like for me, going to the beach and walking around and not dying of heat exhaustion because I have 30 extra pounds on me, or my feet hurting or my back hurting, those kinds of things. Being able to spend 9 hours painting a wall and only having, my hand and my forearm hurting from holding the paintbrush. And that's going up and down a ladder constantly throughout the day, bending, kneeling, all that stuff. And so when the scale gets frustrating, don't forget to take your measurements. Take them before you go into surgery. Take your body measurements, and take, do your weight, do your body measurements, take photos for sure, because, there's a side-by-side of me. I'll show it to you. So in that side-by-side, you can see the difference 1 year makes. And you don't realize it until you actually look and see. And I didn't start this journey of actual weight loss until 7 weeks ago. So 1 week of my pre-op diet. So I lived for a very long time with the rounder face, with the heavier body. So take your measurements, take your photos, do weigh yourself, but don't stress out and weigh yourself every day. Weigh yourself once a week. And if you can't figure out how to do that, then put the scale away. Because it's a mental game. Like last night, I don't know, for whatever reason, I weighed myself and I was a pound heavier than when I weighed myself last Wednesday. So that was a 5-day difference. And so, and I was 1 pound heavier, but I drank a ton of water that day. Over the weekend, when we went to the beach, we ate at restaurants. So everything I ordered was extra salty, and I don't really add salt to my food at home, right? So I had some water weight. I was drinking extra water on Sunday. And then for whatever reason, I decided it was a good idea to weigh myself. So you have to give yourself some grace. So if you can't stay off the scale, put it away and do your measurements, your photos, and look for those little non-scale victories, right? Is your watch band a little bit looser? Were you able to go down a notch on your belt? What about your clothing sizes? Are those starting to feel better? Do your rings fit better? Does your jewelry fit better? Are you able to sit further away from your steering wheel? All those kinds of things. Look at those things as your non-scale victories, the things that you can actually see and not necessarily your weight, right? Because during this process, one of the reasons why you take in so much protein is so that when you're losing weight really quickly, you're losing the fat and not your muscle mass. And so muscle and fat, 1 pound is 1 pound, right? But it's the density of it, right? So a pound of muscle is smaller than a pound of fat. However, if you're losing a lot of fat and you're gaining some muscle by adding that protein to your diet and doing your walking and your exercises, then you might lose a few sizes but not move on the scale. So the scale can be a little tricky. And that's one of the reasons why I think a lot of people see the stalls and get really frustrated with stalls. they might be stalling on the scale, but they might still be moving in pant size or non-scale victories. So just keep those in mind as you're going through this process. It's not an easy process. It took you a really long time to gain all that weight. And this is a tool, right? The surgery is a tool. So if you look at it as a tool and you see it as a tool and you work hard, you have to work your ass off, right? It's blood, sweat, and tears in this process. But stick to it, because if you do stick to it, you will lose your weight and you will get down to your goal. And don't compare your journey to anybody else's, right? So I am 30 pounds down in 6 weeks, whereas I have seen other people who are 45 or 50 pounds down, and I've seen some people who are 12 pounds down. Everybody's journey is different. A lot of it has to do with what is your starting weight, right? If your starting weight is 500 pounds, in the first 6 weeks you lose 45 pounds, that makes sense, right? Whereas I started at 242. If I lost 45 pounds in the first 6 weeks, that would be crazy. So, you know, compare your journey to yourself. The only person you're in competition with is yourself. And it's also, it's a big mind game, right? I have found that making these videos on YouTube and posting them has been very therapeutic for me. And I'm not currently seeing a psych doctor. However, if you get blue, or if you get a little sad or depressed in your process, or you just can't stop eating and you can't get past those cravings, a lot of it is all in your head. And sometimes you need to go back to that psych doctor that did your psych eval and go talk to them and see if they can help you get to a better place so that you're successful in your weight loss. A lot of people who lose a lot of weight with these surgeries end up gaining later. You know, it could be 3, 4, 5, 10, 15 years down the road, and they'll gain a lot of it back. And most of that is in your head, right? Especially if you're like me and I'm a very emotional eater. I have an issue with not leaving food on my plate, and so I will eat all of what's on my plate, whether I am full or not. And so it's taking those smaller portions to begin with, and then waiting a half hour and deciding if you're really full or not, and then going back for seconds. So there's a lot of tricks that you can do, keeping yourself busy. But I do highly recommend that you do something for your mental health. And that might be reading a self-help book, or listening to some podcast, seeing a psych doctor, making these videos and posting them on YouTube. They don't have to be public. I think 3 of my friends know about these videos, and for the most part, it's just people who are going through the process who have seen them. So anyways, it's stay healthy, right? Stay healthy in your mind, stay healthy in your body. If you like these videos, please hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. The more love I see, the more videos I produce. I do have a random video coming out. The painting that I did on Saturday, I am actually going to post the process, because when I was looking for tips and tricks on how to do that exact wall, I was very unsuccessful in finding something useful. So I made my own video. So anyways, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.